The Evermore podcast is now sponsored by WFST Total Compliance. WFST provides fire safety requirements UK-wide to prepare you and your employees should the worst happen. Do what you do best and visit wfst.co.uk today. Enjoy the episode. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel and podcast. It's Chris with a very big smile on my face for the match reaction as Newcastle United have battered the Mackems 3-0 on their own doorstep. Most of them buggered off at 2-0, so they probably didn't see the third goal go in. But what were we even worried about? And breathe. Everybody breathe. My God. That game was nerve-wracking in the lead-up to it, but the quality shone right through from the first whistle. We're going to get stuck right into this in a minute, just talk about the game, talk about the key moments, and obviously how proud we are of these lads for getting the job done in probably the biggest game, certainly of this month, if not arguably the way the season's going right now. We've had some huge fixes already this season, but this one we had to take care of business, and thank God the lads did. We'll get stuck right into this. Just before we do, a little reminder, if you haven't already, subscribe. We'd love you to come and join us. We are, which direction are we here? This one? Well, I don't know where my fingers are going. We're over 6,200 subs. The button's knackered, so I'm pointing to whatever corner I'm pointing to there. I feel like the Mackems. I don't know where I'm going. I'm all over the place. But 6,200 subs, loads of room for you guys on the Evermore community that we're growing, all free content. If you want to give a little bit back to the channel, there is a membership option there as well. So let's get stuck in then. So how did the lads line up? This is how we're lined up. We are live tonight, this afternoon. Even jump in the comments. I know loads of you have already been chatting amongst yourselves, but you can see Eddie Howe give the competition the respect it deserves. He gave the derby the respect it deserves, and he went full tilt. Kieran Trippier was back fit, captain the side. They had that sturdy back four in. I'm not going to lie, I probably wasn't alone. A few people were slightly concerned about Burn at left back, but we had nothing to worry about whatsoever as the game transpired, really. The midfield three of Bruno, Longstaff and Joe with Miley on the bench. And obviously Isaac, Gordon and Mickey was back in the side up top. In terms of the Mackems, they had their key players, I suppose, in terms of Clark, Bellingham, young Bellingham was in there, Pritchard was in the side. And they were giving it their best fist, really. But to be honest, once it was all kicked off and done, and the media were stopping talking about it, and the Mackems were stopping getting themselves all wound up about it, it was pretty clear the gulf in class between the two teams. This was a championship team full of young players who, to be fair to them, did try their best. They tried hard. Some performances were decent enough from them. I thought Ballard was decent enough. I thought O'Nien got stuck in, but most of them were just completely way off the pace in terms of the quality against a top 7-8 Premier League team that's just been in the Champions League this season, and it showed. It really did. The lads were dominant right throughout. I didn't feel for one moment really that the Mackems were even giving us any threat whatsoever. Second half, we'll come into a couple of their chances in a minute, but we started the game. You could see the intensity was there. The lads were up for it. They were bouncing. They were ready to go right from the first whistle. Sunderland would just look like they were trying to contain us. Really, they had no threat up top. Was it the boy Ruzin, who the Ukrainian lad just didn't really offer anything in terms of a threat to our back four, really. Cher and Botman seemed to have loads of time on the ball. Trips looked like he was back to his usual Trip self. He looked calm. He looked relaxed. He was giggling at the Mackems, giving him shit in the crowd, which was great to see. He just looked a lot calmer. Did Trippier, to be fair. We bossed the game. We absolutely bossed the game. Isaac looking sharp. Joe Linton was dominant in the first half, and I've got to say, I think I've already had some of the comments further up in the comments. I'll do my best to keep up with it. But the comment about, I think, was it giving Miggy shit? I think somebody said, am I going to give Miggy shit? I'm going to give you a shout out there. Mararanga. No, I'm not going to give Miggy shit at all. Miggy is actually my man of the match. I'm going that early. He was brilliant today. He was relentless. He was like a wasp in a beer garden buzzing around your pint. Didn't give the Mackems any fucking peace whatsoever, and he was class right throughout the game. Was Miggy, to be fair, so he deserves all that credit. I will give him credit where he's due. When he's shite, I'll call it, but when he's good, I'll also call it. But Joe Linton in particular in that first half was bossing it. He was he was just dominant. It looked like men against boys in that midfield. To be fair to young Bellingham, Pritchard, Dan Neil, they're not going to probably come across as much of a dominant figure in their league as Joe Linton, even though I don't think he was fully fit. And obviously we saw as the game went on, he wasn't fully fit, but he's just a beast of a man. He's just absolutely massive. And he was just nicking the ball off them. They were bouncing off him. He was swatting them away like flies. And the first goal comes from Joe Linton's brilliance, really. He goes steaming up the left-hand side and they're just hanging off of him. I did a piss-taking tweet or post, as it is, on X from the Evermore account, and it was the Incredible Hulk carrying someone, just knocking players off. That's kind of like how the first goal looked. I felt like I was Nostradamus there, because Joe Linton just beasted right through the middle of their team. He puts a ball across, and Ballard, who I thought was all right in the first half, I thought he battled against Isak quite well. He puts it in the back of his own net, 1-0 up. There was a penalty shout on Isak in the first half. To be fair, I don't think it was a penalty. I think if I'd been given against us, I'd have been a bit missed. I'm not going to sit here and say I thought it was a pen. I'll get to your comments if you guys thought it was a pen. But I think for me, Isak was busy. He was moving around. He was finding little pockets of space and everything else. But I thought Ballard handled him fairly well in the first half. But then just as the game went on, that quality just showed again. And Isak was just becoming too much of a handful for the lad. Obviously, Joe Linton goes down with an injury in the first half. I think actually, he goes down with an injury just towards the end of the first half. And I'm thinking, not again. And I didn't even think he'd come out for the second half. He comes out for the second half, and to be fair, the Mackems commit suicide straight away. We're all over him in the first half. Longstaff's had 2 or 3, 4 chances to get himself a goal. That's the biggest problem Longstaff has in his game, is that lack of composure. He makes the run, he does all the hard work, and putting it in the back of the net, he just fluffs his lines. And if Longstaff had his shooting boots on instead of his slippers, we might have been 3-0 up in the first half and could have rested half the fucking team in the second half. But we're only 1-0 up. We'll come out in the second half, and within minutes, I think it's Elise just absolute just schoolboy error. I mean, Ali McCoy was brilliant on commentary, as always, on ITV while I was watching. And he was saying how Almiron's on you like a rash. You cannot breathe for a second. And Almiron was great today. This is the Miggy that we all know and love. Just relentless press and energy on you like a rash. And exactly what he did to Elise, who dwells with the ball way too long, doesn't realise he's playing against a player like that. Miggy nicks a ball, pops it across. Brilliant finish from Isak. First time, bends it in the far corner, we're 2-0 up, and that's game over. I don't think the Mackems had anything after that to really give us any threat whatsoever. And, as the game kind of transpires, even after 2-0, the Mackems started kind of growing the game. But just before that, Joe Linton goes off straight away, and Louis Miley comes on. And I think, to be fair to Louis, he didn't have his best game. I think he was a bit sloppy with the ball. I'm not going to judge him too much because, obviously we went to win the game comfortably in the end, but he was a bit sloppy with the ball. He had some nice little touches here and there, but he looked a bit slow off the pace of the game. The game was quite, even though we were in the dominance and we were 2-0 up, the game was quite fast-paced, even though the Mackems didn't really have a great deal to offer. The banged a few rattling tackles and got the crowds a little bit wound up and stuff like that. And was it Hume and Gordon had a little bit of a tete-a-tete, and I think Hume got a yellow card, and O'Nien got stuck in a little bit. But outside of that, they had no quality really going forward whatsoever. No threat, no striker. Pritchard had their best 2 chances in the second half. With one, he just clips the top of the bar with good strike, to be fair to him, and then another one where he pops it down into Dubravka's right, and then I think Elise actually had a driving shot, or possibly could have been Equa, had a driving shot, and it bounces off Botman, and a great save by Dubravka, who had very little to do, but what he had to do, he did really well. Made a couple of fantastic stops. But I was never worried that they were going to give us anything, really. They weren't really going to give us a game. I just think they were trying to get into us and wind us up and all that. It just wasn't working. The lads handled the game really well. The mentality was good. We were calm. We were relaxed. We were popping the ball around. We knew we were the better side, and we weren't going to get drawn into them, rattling us and put us off of our game. And it was a brilliant performance, I think, by the lads altogether. Anthony Gordon was being a bit of a pest as well. Him and Hume had a bit of a tete-a-tete, as I said. And then shortly after that, comes across and Ballard just wipes him out. Great bit of pace by Gordon. He knows it's coming. He just dips his shoulder one side. Ballard just bangs him out. Stupid tackle, really, by the lad. I think he was frustrated at that point. Penalty, Isak slots away. Brace in your face, as Callum Wilson would say. Isak's got 2 goals. fucking class. He goes into the history books, goes into them record books. No matter what else he does in his Newcastle career, Alexander Isak, he has a brace against the Mackems, and he'll always have that. Even when he's fat and old and he's 65 doing punditry in Sweden, he will always have a brace against the Mackems in a tiny way at Derby. 3-0, job done, piece of piss. So, like I say, we were all worried, and as Gary says there, and breathe, and they know how good Mickey is now. Absolutely, mate, 100%. But I just think we were so dominant. We were so dominant, as Paul says, piece of piss that Sunderland are shite. The funny thing was, as Ian says, Job was shite. I mean, there's a lot of hype about Job. It's all about who his brother is really in it. But I mean, he's a young lad, he's a boy, and he was up against, big shout out to Bruno as well. Bruno was fucking class today as well. He didn't even have to really make much of an effort, but he was just stood rolling. He was picking passes out. He had time. He was getting into tackles. And, like I say, Joe Linton and him in the first half were just absolute animals, a pair of them. And these lads had nothing to offer them. Just young lads getting swatted off like flies. Like Dan Neil, I barely even knew he was on the fucking pitch, to be honest with you. People were talking about him being the local lad and getting amongst it and rattling our midfield. They had nothing. Sean Longstaff was much better today. I thought he ran hard today. Again, poor with his final distribution in terms of his finish. That's Sean's biggest issue. I think Miley's a better finisher, but he lacks probably the pace to get into those positions, which is mad because Sean Longstaff ain't very quick either. But I think all in all, the lads should be really proud of that performance. We'll get a few of your comments up here. Simon said, love ITD's panel mind. Keen Waddle, Jesus wet Waddle internally, a total wet wipe. His one contribution to analysis at halftime was to mistake Joe Linton for Gordon. It is bad. These should get yellow cards for these decisions, I think. Never mind the female pundits that a certain former Newcastle player are giving shit to. The male pundits are just as bad at times, to be honest with you. What have we got down here? A few more comments. Yeah, a comment there from Nicholas Isak. What did that? Should a game? He tested a little. Cannot remember when it was a miss of penalty. National team. He's ice cold. Yeah, I think you're saying about Isak's pens, mate. Yeah, he's very cool under pressure. That's him up to, I think it's 13 or 14 goals now this season. So he's on his way to 20 goals. We just need him to stay fit, and that's the main thing. I still think we need a centre forward in January, because the injury threat to Wilson is a problem. It really, really is. Comment there from 66. Yes, Bar was decent when he come on. I thought he did give them a little bit of a zip or something. But again, he's not a striker. They don't have a striker, but he certainly rattled a few cages, I think, in terms of his movement. But it fizzled out really quick, a bit like a shit firework from the pound shop on bonfire night, really. So moving down to comments here, guys, we've got Northumberland Rock Hopper. Thankfully, the lads are very professional, level-headed. Absolutely, mate. Just let the quality do talk. Some great displays today. You're totally right, Rock Hopper. I think that's what we needed from the lads. And again, a big shout out to Eddie Howe, because he's had a lot of pressure on him from largely outside of Newcastle, outside of the fan base, outside of the kind of northeast media, the national media. I think somebody put a comment way up, I can't find it now, about the likes of Talk Sport and that, being a bit upset that there was no giant killing on the card. Sky Sports probably as well. They'll all be devastated that Sunderland didn't turn us over, though we just rocked up and did a great job. And testament has to go to Eddie Howe and his mentality. He's not panicking. He's not worrying. He knows that the side are better than Sunderland. He knows that he's got the tactical nous to set that team up to be the way it is. It helps when your big players turn up and deliver, Trippier and Bruno in particular, and Mickey as well. Those three were fantastic today. They showed their quality, they showed their leadership, and they showed that, their reliability as our key players. And that's, a large reason as to why we got the job done. Antagonized buzzing. This was definitely a catalyst game, season changer now. It could very well be antagonized. It could be for the rest of the season, a bit like that Leeds game was when John Rochelle scored that free kick. In the relegation fight, we need a kickstart. We need a catalyst, and this could really be it. We've got City coming up next at St James's Park. If we can get another maybe signing or two in the door in the lead up to that game, get that whip, get that frenzy up, get that buzz up. The crowd will be bouncing, and we've got a nice 2-week break. We can maybe tie up some deals as well, bring some players in, get some of the players back from injury potentially. Maybe Joe Willock, maybe a Harvey Barnes, and all of a sudden things start to look a little bit better. So got to be buzzing for that. And as you say, Gibbo, it's a real shame about Joe Linton. I think the problem is with Joe Linton, he keeps coming back quicker. This is an issue. I think there's no surprise to me why we've got rid of some of the the physiotherapy team or one of the head guys. I think that a lot of these players have been rushed back from injury. They're maybe being asked, are you fit? And the physios are just taking that as gospel. Every single player is going to say they're fit to play because they don't want to miss out on any games, any Champions League games, any big Premier League games, tiny weird derbies. Jesus, if you're Dan Burn or Sean Longstaff, Elliot Anderson probably would have said he'd be able to play if he hadn't snapped his back in God knows how many places. So these physios are maybe not doing the due diligence to get the lads right. They're putting them back into the squad. Eddie's trusting their judgment. They're training all right. They could go back home and go, oh, fucking hell, I'm in agony. And then he plays them in a game and they break down because it's intense. Even in a game like that, we were so dominant and so superior to the opposition that Joe Litton's broke down again. All he got was a little shove, and just that was enough to maybe pop his muscles out one way or the other or whatever. And it is a real shame. And I hope he's not out for a long time, but I think he needs to have a good rest out of the team now. We can't rush Joe Litton back. You know, if we go and sign someone like Calvin Phillips, you know, Calvin Phillips can slip into that number 6 role. You got Bruno playing well. You could rotate Longstaff or Miley if Willock's coming back. Give Joe Litton a good period of time just to get his shit together and get sorted. And if he gets called up for any Brazil friendlies, just fucking bomb him out and don't go and play and get yourself right, Joe. Teresa's saying a relief too. Right, it was a relief, 100%. I was worried as well. Yeah, 66. It's a big habit to pull. It bloody was, wasn't it? Jesus Christ, had more veins than a fucking vampire buffet, didn't it? Unbelievable. What a beast the man is. Absolute beast. D-Sabotage saying, how is the fume? I imagine the fume is quite large, to be honest with you, mate. Absolutely. Les is a bit late, still celebrating. Good on you, Les. Yeah, I thought we'd give ourselves a little bit of time for everyone just to calm down a little bit. No matter what happened in the game, not that I was being negative or anything like that. I'm just thinking, we need to calm down. Kev is back, which means we've won. Been a while. Top man, Kev. Good to see you in the comments, mate. Absolutely brilliant. It's always good to have these positive post-matches. We haven't had that for a while, have we, to be fair, in all fairness. You're right, though, Gary. We did miss J7 when he went off and missed that physicality. So I think that's why we need to get somebody in that position who can rattle a few people in midfield. You know, Phillips would be a really good signing for that. Even if we go across to Saudi, you know, get Ruben Neves or Milenkovic-Savic or a player like that on loan. Why not? That could really do the part to fill in that physicality that Joe Litton offers when he's off resting up and getting himself right as well. JJ Spencer, the referee bottled sending off their right back after the altercation with Gordon. I thought that with Hume as well. I thought he could have easily had a second yellow and been off. You book either players or you book neither. I do agree with that. JJ, I think that Pawson did drop the ball there, but he let a lot of tackles go early on. I thought, you know, there could have been a few yellow cards for the Mackems way beforehand, and he let it go. And I think he was worried about whipping the cards out too soon. He probably would have had to book everybody, in all fairness. But, you know, I just think I think it was one of them games that thankfully no majorly big decisions went against us, really, and the big decisions went in our favour, so we can't grumble too much. Simon saying, Dummett and Richie, that's the double sub you make for 3 minutes. I was laughing at the two of them, giggling as well with the cover, which I thought was absolutely outstanding. I just seen Matt Ritchie's shithouse grin. I thought, this is the kind of game Matt Ritchie lives for, really. Matt Ritchie in his prime in one of these derbies would have been amazing because he's such a shithouse. I think he would have wound somebody up to get them a red card. And I'm quite sad we haven't seen the tiny weird derby with Matt Ritchie at his best. You know, the championship Matt Ritchie. That was so, you know, the Matt Ritchie said, I love playing away in lockdown. Seemed to be mint in a time of weird derby. But listen, you know, the results there. So, you know, it's great to see that back from the lads. Great to see Miggy back, says Dave. Again, but where did he leave his right foot? Well done, lads. He was good. He was very good today. Like I say, that press, that relentless energy from Miggy is exactly what we need. Ragatoni is saying Miley got smashed early after coming on. You see, we got hiding after that. Gave away a poor pass for the McCounter. Welcome to Derby, young man. He'll learn from that. But he is only 17, mate, isn't he? To be fair, we've got to give him a little bit of slack. He's played a lot of football too. He looked leggy today, I thought, when he come on. Did Louis? He looked really leggy. He looked really tired for the first time. I've seen that in him. So, you know, maybe it's just the fatigue catching up on the young man. He's looked a lot better in, you know, in bigger games. This probably was the bigger game out of all, and really, but against bigger opposition and more quality opposition, he looked a better player. But, you know, listen, he's still a really good footballer. He had some lovely touches still. Yeah, but that is a total different game. You're right about that, 100%. Double D says, however, lads, Trippier seems back also 100%, mate. I thought Trippier looked great today. Again, like I say, he just looked like he was enjoying himself. He was calm, he was smiling, he was giggling, he was, he just seemed like the Trippier of old, but quality on the ball as well, the delivery, some of those whip crosses across the box, sensational. Isak's not your kind of neck bang centre forward, is he? But if we had a player that could make that run and put that header off, you know what I mean? That those balls today, that striker would have had probably 2 or 3 goals in the first half. But Isak still had a brace, and even not being fully fit, getting himself back to sharpness. But yeah, it was great to see Trippier back, and he even shot from a free kick, which was way too far out, to be fair. But it's nice to see the confidence is there, 100%. Danielle saying, "Fucking come on, absolutely, mate. I couldn't agree more, mate. Well said." Don't need to use 100 words, mate. That will do for us. Absolutely class. It really, really was. What we've got here, so. We've got Jason, 87. He's not getting carried away. It was like beating a 10-man Fulham. Come on, get a little bit carried away, Jason. It's nice to enjoy a win, mate. We were all shitting myself beforehand there. And Teresa's S is saying, yes, remember to subscribe and click the like button. Thank you very much for that. Mark isn't here to remind me in the background. So, yes, if you can like everybody, that'll be absolutely class. Jessica Noble is saying, I should get the tissue out for the Sunderland fans. Sunderland got beat by Newcastle. Yeah, see, some of the Sunderland fans have been terrible, to be fair. They really have. I think most of them are all right. It's all banter. It's all crack. But I saw some rancid stuff on social media before, the game. Some of these flags they pulled up and, 9/11 attacks on and stuff like that. Fucking embarrassing. It really was. We've got helmets in our fan base as well, no doubt about that. But it was shit. But I'm not going to give the Mackems too much shit, with the exception of one. So there was a former Sunderland player who came in to watch the game, and generally I wouldn't jump on that because there was former Newcastle players there. Riley Taylor was there as well, but because this guy's such a wank, it was great to see Jordan Pickford's miserable fucking face in the crowd when he realised his precious Sunderland were getting humped by Newcastle United. What a wanker this bloke is, and nothing made me smile more than that miserable twat. His missus doesn't look like she wants to be there at all. She's probably saying, "Why are we back in this shithole? And you're getting battered. Can we leave now?" Just like the other Sunderland fans left at 2-0. So hope you enjoyed that picks. Magic. What a twat that he is. Got a comment there from Nixie saying, "And go crawl back under the rock for the next 15 years." The show did come out of the hiding places, didn't it? My God, they were incredible. They were like gremlins when they get wet. They just kept fucking multiplying. Conrad saying, "Come on, Jordy's brilliant professional display today. Bring on the rest of the season." This is what we need, Conrad. You're right. This is a confidence boost. This is an injection of adrenaline in the arm for not just the lads and Eddie, but for the fan base as well. It's hard seeing us lose as many games as we've lost when we've been used to winning games and winning them in style. So this is exactly what we needed as a fan base, I think, for everybody. And bring on City, man. We'll go on and bounce on that with a little bit of confidence, and like I say, if we can get a couple of the players through the door as well, then and a couple of players back off the treatment table, we're looking in good shape. We really, really are. As Ian says, Ian wants time for a few silence. Well, he said 4 silence there, Ian. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind 4 silence. D-Sabotage saying, "Smash the likes." Yes, guys, if you can, that'll be absolutely class. Really appreciate that. We've got, is that Manakara? An OJ defensive mistake and a pen is hardly winning. The Mackems made it easy. We still couldn't score. Well, I mean, it's a 3-0 win, mate. At the end of the day, the way we were playing and the run that we've been on, I don't care if it hit somebody in the face and went and we won 1-0. I'd still be buzzing, to be fair. We had to win that game. The lads got the job done. So as far as I'm concerned, 3-0 is a bloody good result for us. K. Ross is saying, more striker cover, biggest priority. 100%. I do agree with that. I think that's something that we missed the boat on in the summer. We have to get that right. We cannot go for the rest of the season relying on Isak and Wilson's fitness. Isak's got a brace today, scored against Liverpool, looks back in the game. The more he plays, the fitter he'll be, the sharper he'll be. But then, bang, you could be another injury away. That's what happens with Isak. So we need to have another option on the bench there. I mean, even someone like Roberto Firmino, who obviously wants to leave Saudi, there's a few teams looking to loan him apparently. We should be all over that. He gives us a body. I know he's not the player that he used to be in that famous 3 of him, Mane and Salah, but he's still capable of doing the job. And, he would be a presence up there and give us something. Phil is saying, watching Bruno today, looked like when you watch an adult playing in the kids' game, absolute stroll. I remember like 5-a-side against when you were a teenager, there was always an adult player who come and he was all right. He wasn't even that good, but he was just like bouncing the ball around, taking the piss out you really. So yeah, that's a very, very good analogy, mate. Jay Devlin is saying, imagine being miserable after beating the Macca's 3. I think that's a shot at you, man, Cora. Yeah, listen, there's nothing wrong with being pragmatic, mate, but we need to be happy for this win because this is a big game, 100%. Yeah, DJ, worth seeing Pickford's face. Absolutely. I'll show you again if you want, mate. He'll never get old, that. Just anybody who missed it last time, there he is. Oh, cheer up, Jordan Pickford. Miserable twat. Absolutely meant to see that. It's because he's such a knob. That's why I really, really enjoy it. We're looking through here. That's through comments there. We've got one from Ty. Good to see you, Ty. I love that. Oh, yes, that was brilliant, Ty. I was going to bring that up. It's great that Newcastle took the piss by doing their winning team photo on the pitch instead of in the dressing room. The fume is strong on weird side. Absolutely, mate. That was brilliant. That was perfect shithousery. That's got Jason Tyndall written all over it, to be honest with you, because that was superb. Absolutely superb. Right, let's get a few of your comments there. Kev Truscott is saying the ref was shite for both sides. Worst player on the pitch. Defo mixed bag. Joe, we were a different team when he went off. Hope he's okay for City. I'm not sure he will be, mate. I really am not. I think he needs a rest. He absolutely needs a rest. Two lads saying Jordan Pickford's lass is a pig. Fucking hell, you must be a stunner, you, mate. I think she's a decent looking girl, to be fair to her. It's not her fault, fellas, or was it? Scroll down to the comments here. There we go. Graham TC Travels. Good to see you, Graham. He said, think Clark and Botman deserved a yellow at least. Yeah, I was wondering that one. I mean, it's kind of 50-50, and you can kind of let it go a little bit, I suppose. But, you could easily get it as a booking as well. It's one of them really weird ones, isn't it? To be fair, it can go either way. But pleased to say we started on the front foot, stayed in the front foot, could have scored earlier. Disappointment for Jim White on Monday. I'm sure Jim White's a closet Mackham. I really am. I think he's just obsessed with the Mackhams and Jordan Pickford, isn't he? To be fair, but hey, they'll go back under the rocks, as you rightly said so before. Vincent saying some of our fans need to get off Isaac's back. He can't do much as a number 9 without creativity behind him. I mean, I'm certainly not on his back. He's got 2 goals today, and that'll do me. He's done the job of a striker. He's not sharp. He's not fit. You can see he's not fit. He's not the Isaac that we've seen before. The Isaac against Spurs and that kind of sharp Isaac. He's not at that level yet because he's been out injured for so long. But he was enough today. His movement, his finishing. I think Miggy's relentless pressing, Bruno's quality on the ball. Even likes a long staff. The defence, the quality. I mean, the only criticism probably the defence at times. I thought Cher and Botman were a bit sloppy with the ball sometimes on the ball. In terms of off the ball, great positional sense, good movement, but the passing on the ball was a little bit sloppy. But other than that, I just think it was an easy enough game. We didn't have to be great today because the opposition was so poor, and that's just a matter of fact. I think even the most staunch Sunderland fan would watch that today and just say we're levels off Newcastle, light years off Newcastle. I'd love Sunderland back in the Premier League. I want that derby every year. I really do. I think that derby would be great, not just for the North East, but for the Premier League as well, because it's a great derby. But Sunderland are so far off us at the minute. Even if they were to be promoted and get whatever cash comes with it, I'm not sure they would have enough money to really invest in enough quality in that squad to come at us. In terms of a good level, the last few times they beat us, they probably had some of the best players they've ever had playing for them, in all fairness. But they're so far away from us. It really is true. The Strawberry Corner, I have no idea why I was so nervous. I was nervous as well, mate, as well. But I think it was just because the way things were going for us. It was right to be nervous. It really, really was. But I think after looking at that, I don't think we realised how poor they were. We were thinking we've played so poor, and we didn't realise that they are a poor side in comparison to us. They're trying to get into the playoffs in the Championship, and if you take maybe the top 4 teams off the Championship, the drop off in quality from maybe the next kind of 16 to 18 teams versus the Premier League teams, it's a huge gulf in class and quality. Certainly the top 6-7 Premier League teams which we have been for the last kind of season and a half, really. Alan is saying Big Joe was a beast. He really was. Hope his injury isn't too serious. Got a bad feeling that it is, mate. I think he's going to be missing for at least a few weeks just to get right. You know what I mean? It's just I think for us, it's just we need him back fully fit. We can't keep having him dipping in and dipping out like the fucking hokey cokey Joe Linton, because he's such an important player for Newcastle United. We have to have him fully fit, bouncing, smashing into players, running like he was in the first half. He can't just be 20, 30% Joe Linton. He has to be 100%. It was great against Liverpool, even though we were poor. He was great in the first half today, but he's just burnt himself out again because he's not fit. He's not fit at all. Well said, Philip. That's got to be the most astute comment yet. Sunderland are shite. Well played, mate. Well played. Coming from, is that J. Clough Jr.? What are your thoughts on the pundit's opinion about the possible penalty? I didn't think it was a pen. Isak going through. I didn't think it was a pen. I thought it was a decent tussle. Yes, you can say arms are locked. If Isak had got 3 yards in front of him and he pulled them, it's a straight pen and maybe it's even a red card. But I don't think it was a pen. I think we'd have been pissed off if that had been given against us. So I'm not going to come on here and say otherwise. That that we should be sitting and think it's going to be a penalty when it really, really shouldn't do. Well, there's some needle in the comments here. There's some Mackhams snuck in because they haven't got any old podcasts of their own to watch. Apart from that, was it The Love Supreme, which it was very good on the Pearson show, to be fair. But that tweet they sent about Joey Barton was fucking awful, to be fair. The man Clara saying didn't appreciate the nasty taunts towards Trippier. That's blowed about that. Oh yeah, I did see some. I could hear some faintly, and I could see some mouthing of lips. Possibly was it about his wife. But I mean, Trippier took it all in good context. Really, just laughed about it. I mean, good players get shit off the crowd. Bad players don't. And Trippier is a very, very good player. So that's all we need to worry about, guys. Nobby is saying Miggy Almiron was our best player again today. Hard to argue, Nobby. I think it's a toss-up between him and Bruno. I think Miggy was back to the Miggy that we all want him to be. But he was really good. Great comment there by the Bionic Man. Dubravka's restart the company was excellent. He was. The saves he had to make were brilliant reactionary saves. Good strong hand, good strong leg to it. At least half the goals he's letting weren't his fault. He's reaching match fitness. Maybe he is Bionic Man because he hasn't played for so long. Maybe that's why he's been a bit rickety. I mean, I said to Mark, as you know, there's a goalkeeper coming in. That's why he's stepping up his game. Possibly, who knows? But if Dubravka keeps playing, like that, then maybe the need for a keeper isn't as important. I still think we should get one because if he goes off form, we've got nobody because Karius is just good at being really good looking and Gillespie just carries the waters to the training pitch, doesn't he? So I think we could possibly do another keeper. I'd still go for De Gea personally if he's willing to take a wage drop to come. And I don't see why he wouldn't do because he's getting paid fuck all right now. So why would you hold out for 500 grand a week? Harry Singh saying, Werner got to Spurs. Here we go soon. To be fair, he was a bit shit in the Premier League, wasn't he? Really, he wasn't great for Chelsea. He wasn't great for Fulham either. I think he went to, wasn't he? So I'm not overly upset about Werner, to be fair. Just he did all right in Germany, but I just think he's a bit shit. So I'm not overly bothered about that. I'd rather sign is it Gurusai from the Bundesliga? I'd rather sign him. He's a goal machine in a minute. 15 million quid release clause. That's a no-brainer. Even Dybala, 13 million euro release clause. I'd go for those two. That's chump change in the transfer market. Get them two signed. You've got quality attack in there and creativity in Dybala who can play as a 10 or as a withdrawn striker or a winger. And then you've got Gurusai who can play up front. So to me, that's a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. It was a good shout, Graham Towler. And good Graham Taylor there. Signs of how we played last season. It really, really was. That kind of intensity was there, that press, but also a calmness on the ball, ability to knock the ball and around each other and not get too wound up about it. So I was quite impressed with that as well. And long may that continue. I fancy a bit of City at home. I really do. It might sound daft that with De Bruyne coming back and everything else, but I think we'll go to that game with confidence. And if we can get a couple of players maybe off the treatment table, you never know. Joe Willock could be on the bench or even Harvey Barnes on the bench, maybe because Howard's keeping that really close to his chest. But we'll bounce in that game with confidence. I mean, if Big Joe can't play, it's a huge loss. But, against City with the crowd there and war flags and just before the 2-week break, I think it's a real good chance for us to get something against City at home, because we can beat anybody at home when our backs are up and chests are out and ready to go. You're right, Andrew. Easy win. It really, really was. Jude Lord said Mickey Mouse is greater than SAFC. That is a low blow. Certainly, I don't know who's funnier, mind you. I must admit. Alan saying he got Pickford has got his missus to wipe away his tears. I think she was the one crying, mate. He would have been gone by 2-0. If everyone else has gone, she'd have been saying to him, "Hoy, come on you go." Kev saying, any thoughts on Somerville from Leeds? I didn't see this. I think there's Alan Hutton, former Mackham as well. had said that he thought Somerville could go to Newcastle in January. I think he's got a little something about him. He's got a bit of pace, got a bit of movement. If I'm honest, I'd maybe want somebody a bit more proven, somebody who could come into that first team and improve it. But, I'm not going to scoff at players with pace and creativity coming in. The Leeds fans think he's a decent player, but, like I say, I'd rather see somebody a little bit better. not be wrecked. There you go. He rates Pickford's last, to be fair. So good on you, mate. Comment there from James replying to Jay Devlin. There we go. I shouldn't have even pulled that one. That's what happens when Mark's not here to help me. Liam is saying the centre back who scored the OG was their best player. I thought he was. Even though he scored an own goal, he's given away a penalty. It sounds like he's had a shitter on paper, but I thought he did all right. I thought he played quite well. I think he's a former Arsenal youth team player. I thought he did all right. But just the quality overran him, absolutely overran him. William is saying that the owners should take out a nod to thank the Mackems for their live training session. I did laugh at the commentary team on ITV where they actually said, the story of the week is how hospitable Sunderland had been at Newcastle and even gifted us the first goal and the third technically and the second. Fuck it, they've gifted us all 3 goals. It's the best hospitality I think any of us have experienced. So thank you so much to the Mackems for that as well. We've got a comment there from Adam Pearson saying, I've given the official transport the slip now in the back of a taxi with Pickford's bird. Up to the big market. Wish me luck. Well, AP's got the reputation of being a shagger, so good on you, mate. Good luck to you on that one. I'm sure Pickford won't be able to catch you because he can't catch anything else, can he? I've got the Pennywell pundit, obviously a Sunderland fan. More than welcome on here, mate. We're not going to dig you out. Everyone be nice to him. The gulf between our teams is far too big at the minute. Yeah, good on you, mate. Well said. I think that's a very astute description of it, and that's not me taking the piss out of the Sunderland team at all. They're young players. A lot of them have just starting out in their career, and that's a big game for them to play. The pressure they're playing against Brazilian internationals, they're playing against England internationals. So that is a big game for those lads to step up and perform in. So yeah, I think you're right, mate. Well said. And hopefully you guys do get promoted because I want you back in the Premier League. I want that game in the Premier League. I really do. At least saying, getting there, Chris, and everyone, what a result. This is a turning point for us. Now, I really hope it is. Because we need to just keep this momentum going. We can't just take this win and then think that's it, everything's all sorted. You know what I mean? We need to really get stuck in and keep this momentum going. But we do need 2 or 3 bodies in the transfer market. There's no doubt about that at all. We're going to hear Chris Quinn is saying, I'm just annoyed. I'm in Thailand on a holiday and I can't take the piss out of the Mackems and Slashes. Don't worry, Chris. They'll be waiting for you when you come back, mate. Don't you worry about that. But it will be a very funny Monday at work for a lot of people who have Mackems and Magpies in the same workplace. Half of them will be very quiet and the other half of them will be very, very loud. Foxy saying, no coincidence that Miggy has a good game after being rested against Liverpool. You're right, Foxy. This is what you need to do with Miggy. You need to give him a kick up the arse to show him that his place isn't a given and he puts some shifts on that. He ran his arse off today. I'd love to see how many miles he covered. We haven't got access to that data, but my God, he would have covered some miles. He played the most games out of everyone this season. Today's show why he's a valuable member of the squad. Man of the match, 100%. I agree with that. I think my issue with Miggy, and I'll double down on it, I don't think he's kind of a player that you should expect big things from all of the time. He shouldn't be the player in the Champions League who's going to get you to the knockouts. He shouldn't be the player who's going to win you a league or get you to FA Cup finals. But he should be a valued member of the squad who can come on, run at tired legs with an energy that he's got and press. And that is vital for the squad. I would never get rid of him. I'd keep him in the squad, but I'd upgrade on him for a starting position when you need that quality. Like a game like City, for example, when you need that quality to come off. So I think, for me, that's what I would do with Miggy. What is this? Brian Hammond, I don't know if you're a Sunderland fan, own goal and a gift and a penalty. Well done, Newcastle. Well, hey, you guys would have took it if you are a Sunderland fan, Brian, so take your lumps, mate. Chris is saying, Chris, we're going to sign nobody is expecting the staff have their procedure. Well, I hope that isn't the case, mate, because I don't think we can afford to go through the rest of the season with the squad as light as it is with the injury risks. We've already seen how bad it is. So, yeah, I would be disappointed if that's the case. But we will be doing a video after the transfer window. We're going to be doing one after the City game, a bit of a mid-season break, rate the players, talk about what we need in the transfer window. And We may even have a guest on that, possibly. Who knows? Watch this space. But we'll be doing a video about that, and also through the transfer window, talking about what we need. And then when the transfer window's over, and if we haven't signed those players, you bet your bottom dollar we'll be doing a video, and there might even be a rant about that, because I won't be very happy about that at all. Fox is saying Beale won't last long at Sunderland. Bellingham leaves within a year. I don't think Bellingham was that good, to be honest with you. I see the hype around the kid because of his last name, but didn't look great today. Didn't do too much today. Didn't use the ball well. Soft in a tackle in midfield. Got bullied. He's got a long way to go before he's this player that everyone seems to think that he is. Cushy's saying that Sunderland played so bad because they're not used to that sort of atmosphere. That's a low blow, but I love it, mate. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I think that was the Sunderland fans would have enjoyed having that back, to be fair. They really would have. That for them would have been the biggest game they've had in years. And although they're pissed off with the result, deep down, they would have been happy that game was back. Newcastle fans exactly the same. Snakey saying, Gordon telling Hugh he could have his shirt after the game was really funny. That was the Gordon that we saw at Everton, the shithouse Gordon at Everton, wasn't it? He was back, wasn't he, starting fights and everything else as well. Mark's in the comments with, well, why wasn't Bruce on the panel? That would have been comedy gold. Oh, mate, could you imagine the shit he'd have been spouting? Well, I've managed both teams. I know the pressure from both sides. Fucking wanker. I'm surprised they didn't ratch him out, to be honest with you. If it had been on Sky, they would have done his mate Gary Neville would have given him another job, probably, unless he's worried about Joey Barton waiting from the car park. Andrew DB is saying over the moon. Absolutely, mate. I could not agree more, being over the moon. I think everyone's over the moon, apart from, obviously, those on Weir's side, sadly. As to coin a phrase says, yeah. He got beat 3-0 at home. Sunderland's a massive club. Oh, the fuck. I do love that chant, by the way. That's one of the best chants I've ever heard. Did that even come out of the ground today? I couldn't hear it on the telly. I really hope it did. Ronald saying we were in complete control. The match was men against boys. It really was, to be fair. Like I say, even the most stout Sunderland fan, I'm not going to, Sunderland fans are welcome in the comments. We just had one there before, but they were light years away from us today. Absolutely light years away. We could have probably played Isaac on the bench and had Gordon up front, with Rich out wide, and I think we still would have won that game. That maybe that's me taking the piss a little bit, but I just think the gulf was so big today. Mo saying we need a striker and a right winger. I don't disagree with that, mate. I think that is a very, very good shout. Alan is talking about the team photo of the pitch with shithousey. That was so good. It really was. Oh, whose idea was that? Had to be Jason Tindall. It really was. I'm sure one of the podcasts who got little connections to the club might be able to find out. Absolutely. Sorry, Gary saying I misread your message. Sorry, Gary. I said we'll sign people who nobody's expecting. Beg your pardon, not no signings. My bad, Gary. I was going to say I will still be livid if we don't sign any players, but that's not what you meant, mate. So good shout. Well done for correcting me, mate. You keep me right, Bonnie lad. Keep me right. Trolls has just jumped into the chat. Get in, Trolls. Absolutely, mate. 100%. Cynical Jim, did you see those pink seats for 80 minutes? I did laugh, actually. I did see Adam Pearson tweet something about his seat, and it was very pink, very faded. So yeah, that's what happens when the light goes out of your football club, I suppose. You lose all the colour in your seats. No grey seats in our stadiums, all black and white. So, well, there is grey seats, to be fair, because they are fucking grey. But you know my point. VAR is the devil, says Toonlad. Isn't it interesting how well that game flowed without VAR? Very interesting, that. Maybe that is a good argument to get shot of it. Absolutely get shot of it. Stu Mag is saying, I get carried away and missed stuff, but am I right thinking Ballard also got involved? Yes, good shout, Stu Mag. You just reminded me on this before I go. I have to say this. Yeah, when Gordon and Hume had a little tete-a-tete and he ripped his shirt and Gordon gave him a shove, Ballard decided to come across, and I tell you something, fair play to Alexander Isak, who ran about 20 yards and shoved him right back and give him the finger. That was class by Alexander Isak. Not seen that side of Isak. He's normally quite a cool customer, but I loved that. Absolutely rocked off that. That was mint by Alexander Isak. And I love to see that kind of fighting spirit in amongst their team as well. So it was absolutely class. Richard says, yeah, we did fuck them right off, mate. Absolutely, yeah. So it was enjoyable. It really was enjoyable. Oh, yeah. I'll just see the comment there from a fan who's clearly got nothing better to do. So I will be pulling up your comment, sad bastard. So don't worry about that one. Just scroll down, get a few more comments in, guys, before we go. Yeah, Tudlord says the Mackhams have 0 class. I don't know what they've put on social media, but I can imagine they probably have been quite aggressive, I'd imagine, as they normally are, to be fair. So yeah, to coin saying he saw red and silver at the start. It was quite funny. I think somebody put something out there that said, "I'm glad to see they're reusing their old Christmas decorations," which was very good. That just shows you that it's like one of them TV shows, isn't it, where they show you how to save money and reuse old shit. I think that's what the Mackhams did, really. So Daniel's saying, bit gutted more players didn't get involved in the Gordon Barr thing. I think we lack those kind of players. If Joe Linton had been there, I think you would have had him by the throat, to be honest with you, Daniel, because Joe's a beast, isn't he? But I'm quite glad he wasn't. He might have got a red card, in all fairness. But yeah, I think it's good to see that Isak has that side to him when he needs to as well, to be fair. So that's absolutely class. So, right, I think that's me pretty much done then, guys, for today. So we've jumped on for 50 minutes there. Thank you so much to all you guys in the chat. It always helps everything flow. We always appreciate engagement with you as well. I don't know who we're getting in the next round, says Mo. Let's bring them on. Let's hope we get a good run, because if we get a nice steady run, getting a cup final, you never know. That could be the trophy. Then everyone can stop talking about how long it's been since we won a trophy, us included. But me and Mark are going to be back with What's Going On Monday night about 9:30. So make sure you jump in the chat in there as well, guys, and check it out. We always like the What's Going On. It's always a good bit of banter, as you always know. Have a belting weekend. Newcastle have just basically sealed the deal for you to go and have a nice weekend. Go and have a beer, go and have a takeaway, go watch a movie, do whatever it is you want. But we're through at the next round of the FA Cup. The lads have got the job done. Bring on Manchester City, and we will see you on Monday if you jump into What's Going On. Have a better weekend, everyone. We'll catch you later. Cheers now.